Morning came grey and heavy with the threat of more rain. Ngozi dressed Adaeze for school with hands that would not stay steady, her mind replaying the driver's warning over and over. The true result confirm, say you be real family, but the one way them go show chief tomorrow go say the test no match. She had two choices. She could stay silent and let the lie stand, walk away from the compound and its danger forever, return to her fire and her yams and the small, hard-won piece of a life nobody could take from her twice. Or she could walk into that study one more time and speak a truth that could get her killed. She chose to go. What she did not know was that Chief Obiora had not slept either. The night before, staring at the folder his lawyer had delivered, something about the collection date had nagged at him, a small inconsistency that did not match his own driver's log. He had called the laboratory director directly, a man he had funded through medical school 2 decades earlier, a man who owed him more than professional courtesy. "Chief, na strange thing you dey ask me," the director had said carefully, "because the report way I personally sign no be the one way your office collect. Somebody come back second time, say make we reissue am. The instruction come from Madam Adaobi office, sir." Betrayal from his own sister felt like a wound reopening in a place he had thought long since healed, but suspicion was not proof, and proof was what he needed. He had driven to the laboratory himself before dawn, sat with the original technician and watched as she pulled the true results from a sealed digital archive no office instruction could quietly erase. A near-certain familial match. Ngozi was not simply a woman who resembled his sister. She was, by blood, exactly what he had hoped and feared she would be. So when Ngozi walked into the study that morning, prepared to fight for a truth she could not yet prove, she found Chief Obiora already standing with the real report in his hand, his eyes red but steady, Adaobi seated stiffly in the corner, beside a lawyer who would not lift his gaze from the floor. "I already know," Chief Obiora said quietly, before Ngozi could speak a word. "I went to the laboratory myself last night. I have the true result here." He held it up, then turned it toward his sister. "The one you paid a man to rewrite." Adaobi's composure cracked instantly. "Obiora, whatever you think you found, you do not understand what you are about to." "I understand perfectly," he said, his voice low and shaking with a fury Ngozi had not yet seen in him. "You knew, from the beginning, you knew she was real, and you tried to erase her the same way our father erased our sister, because it was convenient for you." "I did it for this family," Adaobi said, tears now bright and furious in her eyes. "I held everything together while you buried yourself in grief for a sister you barely remembered, and now you would hand it all to a stranger who sells yam on the street?" "She's not a stranger," Chief Obiora said. "She's our sister's daughter, our blood, and I would lose everything our father built before I would become the man he was." The lawyer, pale and trembling, finally confessed what he had done, apologizing for the money that had bought his silence. Adaobi stood frozen a moment longer, her carefully built world collapsing around her, then walked out without another word, her heels striking the marble floor like small, furious gunshots. The room fell quiet. Chief Obiora sank into his chair, exhausted, and looked at Ngozi with something that was no longer suspicion or grief, but a raw, unguarded tenderness. "You are not simply welcome here," he said. "You belong here. I want the whole family and the whole world to know it properly, not as a rumor from a market stall, but as truth spoken with your name attached to it." 3 weeks later, the compound that had once frightened Ngozi with its marble floors and iron gates was filled with the sound of drumming and laughter, aunties in bright gale, arranging trays of jollof rice and grilled fish, cousins she had never met crowding around Adaeze to admire her school certificates, elders pouring libations and calling out the family name Ngozi had spent her whole life without knowing was hers. Chief Obiora stood before the gathered family, Ngozi's hand held firmly in his, and declared what the laboratory result and his own heart had already confirmed. "This is my sister's daughter," he said, his voice carrying clearly over the courtyard. "Ngozi Adaeze Nnamdi. She was hidden from us for 28 years by a silence that should never have been kept. Today, that silence ends. She is family. Her daughter is family. And nothing in this house or in this name will ever be complete again without them in it." Ngozi stood in the center of that courtyard in a new lace outfit that still felt unfamiliar against her skin, Adaeze beside her glowing with pride, and thought of 11 years spent bent over a roasting fire while people called her nothing. She had never once stopped being somebody's daughter, somebody's blood, somebody worth searching 28 years for. The market had simply never known it. She kept her stall at Eke Ochanja Market open long after that day, not out of necessity, but out of respect for the woman she had been, and the women, like Mama Chidinma, who had never once looked down on her. But now, when she stood behind that wooden table fanning her fire, she stood there as a Nnamdi, daughter of a woman the family had tried to erase, proof that dignity was never something the world could take from a person who refused to hand it over. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unforgettable stories. Leave your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you learned from today's story.